welcome to Celebrating Differences, a podcast that is an initiative of WAAO Inc., a nonprofit chartered to foster community. Today is episode 88, and we'll be talking with Justine Ledford from Flagstone Roofing and Exteriors about repairing roofs and living well. Justin's an interesting guy, so let's go talk to him. All right. We're on record, Justin.
Ty, good to see you.
Good to see you, and I really appreciate you doing this because you've got an interesting life.
Yeah, I do.
You do a lot of work. You run your own company, all that kind of stuff. But then you go off to a retreat, a guy's retreat.
Yes, sir.
Trying to get better.
That's correct.
And not just better at your work.
That's right.
But better as a person.
Yes, sir.
And I hate to say it that way. Maybe you're trying to grow. Maybe it's not getting better. It's finding out who you really are.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's why I invited you to come talk. It's not just because you're putting a new roof on my house.
Thank you for allowing me to be here. You know, when I met you, I could tell you were unique because you're correct, charismatic. I mean, I thought you were 60, but you're like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
I'm older than 60.
I'm a little bit over 60, yeah.
And then you have your own podcast. And I was just like, okay, you want to invite me? This is great. I'd love to talk to your audience.
Yeah. Well, we had a great time. We're going to show you a little video later about him climbing around on my roof. And I want you to talk through that video.
Okay.
Because you did stuff like you licked the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'd say, okay, I can make up stories about that all day long, but I want to know what you're doing up there on the roof as we go through the video.
I just have this. I love the taste of roofs.
Oh, okay. So let's get some background on who Justin really is. Where were you born and when?
I was born in Houston, Texas area, and I was born in 1987. And my family, we lived there for all of my young days, all the way until I was 16. Then we moved to Friendswood, Texas.
Okay.
And I went to high school there. I played sports. I was competitive. I was an all-star.
Why does that not surprise me?
Yeah, right. And I got into. Well, I'll go back a little further.
Okay.
We had a business, and the economy shifted, and we lost everything. I remember going from a big house to a little 2-bedroom apartment.
Wow.
At the age of 13, I recall a pain, like crying, my family sad, and I had to basically become like a grown-up kid. I had to move everything. I had to start working at the age of 13. My dad, I asked him for a Nintendo 64, and he's like, son, we don't have the money to get you whatever you want anymore. So you need to learn how to make money. And he was always in sales, direct sales. And he said, I'm going to teach you how to inspire people to make your own money. And it was the most valuable lesson I ever got. He taught me how to knock on people's doors, share a story. This is valuable, with a lesson, and have people be inspired to help me. And I can still regurgitate what I would say to these people.
Okay.
After school, I'd ride my bike to nice neighborhoods, and I'd knock on their door and I'd say, sorry to bother you. I'm trying to pay my way through college. I'm in 9th grade right now. I have a few more years to save up for college. I'd like to see if I can mow your yard, clean your pool, clean your garage, wash your car, do your dishes, anything, because I'm trying to save up for college. Could I come back tomorrow or the next day to do any type of odd job for you? And I remember people would open the door and look at me, which seemed like it seemed like forever of silence. But they would look at me and say multiple times, how old are you? My son is upstairs playing video games right now. I wish he would offer, sure, you can come back tomorrow.
Okay.
And I got a book of business. And I remember by the age of 18, I had a safety deposit box at JSC Federal Credit Union. And back in the day, I don't know if they do this still, you have to bring like your own little key. They bring their key. You pull out the thing. And by the age of 18, I had over $100,000 in Benjamin Franklin's in my safety deposit box. It was just a goal because I wanted to be able to pay for my own school and never feel that pain that I felt when we lost our nice house. And from there, I got into direct sales. And
So where'd you go to school?
okay,
You had this money.
yes,
What did you do with the money?
sure. Thank you for guiding me. As you can tell, I have a lot of energy and passion, and I can
Yeah.
go all over the place.
Yeah.
I went to a community college, and I went for 2 years. And I realized at that same time, somebody told me, Justin, you're really good with people. You should consider working for this company called Vector Marketing,
Okay.
which is a company where we sell knives. And while I'm in school doing, I think normal credits, I don't know, I can't remember what it was, just business. I'm selling during the day these Cutco knives and doing really well. And I loved it. And I realized that maybe school isn't for me because at 18, I made well over six figures. And that's when I decided to put that on hold and focus on my career. And I was glad to say that I became the top producer in that company year after year for 10 years straight. And it taught me how to be productive, how to save money, how to communicate with people, how to build a book of business, things that I was never taught, in school, things that, I needed to know to become successful. So I didn't finish college, but I became a business person.
Yeah, and I think this is a lot of discussion going on now about what's the value of a college education opposed to the cost, because the cost has gotten unreasonable.
Right.
I think.
Yeah, I agree.
And the answer is not everybody should go to college.
I agree.
And you're a great example of you didn't need that. You were going somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know.
And I was having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
18 to 28, I was able to be my own boss, travel the world because they give us incentives. If we do good, they take us on vacations. And I got to literally do what a lot of people never get the opportunity to do. From, Europe to all of South America. I can't even count how many vacations were given to me because of what I was able to produce.
Okay.
So it was very valuable.
So you own the company now, and you give vacations to your high producers.
100%. So now
I get that was a guess. I just want everybody to hear that was a guess.
that was a good guess. So one day I'm selling knives, and my wife was an accountant and for a big oil and gas company. And she would come home and have more work upon work. Late into night, like she would be cramming on her laptop. And I didn't have to do that because I was my own independent boss. I remember one day she called me and she's like, Justin, what are you doing right now? It was like around lunch, like 10 or 11. Just sitting here reading a book, just hanging out. And she's like in the middle of work. And I remember she's like, man, we got to make a change. I want that freedom. And time passed, and my dad came to us. We were having lunch, and he was in sales for a roofing company. And he said, man, he was upset. He didn't get paid by his boss because whatever reason, the roofing boss didn't pay my dad. He said, and my wife said, why don't we start a roofing company and you come work for us? I'll be the back end accounting financials, and Justin he'll be the investor, and he'll, lead the team. From there, my dad told my brother, my uncle, my cousin.
Okay.
And for 8 years, I was still selling knives, keep in mind. And I'd go out with them on the weekends to help them, to push them, to inspire them. They did well. And I was at the top of my game in the Cutco business. But I kept going to this man's house. And his name was Skeeter Braun in Pearland, Texas. And he said, by the way, I'd sell his wife some knives, and I'd go see her every other year and sell her more knives. I mean, she'd buy $2,000-$3,000 worth of knives every time. She didn't need more knives, but she was very affluent, and she liked my company, and I guess she'd buy more knives for friends or family or whatever.
Sure.
And the husband's like, you should really start selling roofs. And I didn't think anything of it. I was hanging out with his wife, and I'm like, man, I'm hanging out with your wife. Like, why would I want to get all sweaty and hot and climb on roofs? Like, but then time passed and that seed was planted in my mind, and my wife said, "Hey, we're pregnant and we need to make a change." Because then, in my opinion, 150K, then it was a lot of money. But in today's inflation and the cost of, rent and gas and everything, I don't feel like that, like what I want to do with my life, I would need more. So that's when I decided to see what I could do if I use those skills from sales, and by the grace of God, I did very well in the industry. These last 4 years I've built a big team, and now I'm serving all of Austin, San Antonio, Killeen. We specialize in insurance restoration after hailstorms, after tornadoes, and that's how I met you.
Yeah.
How did we meet?
You actually, you saw something online and you sent me a note in Facebook.
Okay, so did you see one of my videos online?
No, I haven't. I got a text or a message from you online in Facebook saying, I had posted a video about the storm.
Okay.
And you came back and said, if you're interested, I'm here. And another one of those guys,
Yeah.
But I came back and said, okay, tell me what you would do.
Yes.
And that's how the conversation started. And here we are, and I'm giving you a big check, and you're going to fix my roof.
100%. Your roof, it's more than just a roof.
Yes.
People in this neighborhood need to know a few things before hiring a contractor. If you don't mind, I'd like to say those things.
Let me hear the quick version of your spiel.
Sure. When you're hiring a contractor, you need to make sure that they can provide you references. You want to make sure that they're actually local, because not all contractors are local. On paper, it can look local. There's these things called satellite offices where Dallas or Houston will come in, pay a little fee, and then they're local. But then after they gobble up some business, they're gone. You actually want to be able to walk into their office, check their references. Additionally, you want to make sure they have valid insurance. Roofing and other contractors will put their name on a piece of paper, and some homeowners will think it's okay. But in reality, they need to take the time and call that agent, say, is this valid and until when? What does it entail? So those are the 3 tips. A couple other tips are, especially in a hailstorm, please ensure that the roofing contractor doesn't just want to do the roof, because that's where roofers make their money. They make their money on the roof. They don't make very much money at all on the gutters and the windows and the screen and the fence and detaching the garage door. There's really not much money in that, but you want to make sure that they can handle the scope of work. Number 4 or 5 tip is you want to make sure that they give you a construction schedule, or what you can expect as to when it'll get done. Because a lot of roofers will take the roof and then just say, oh, we can't do the rest after they're under contract, and leave the homeowner with this bag of to-do list. And then additionally and finally, you want to know what your payment terms are, because one of my close friends she got taken advantage of. She didn't have all this stuff. She didn't check his references. She was blind to the payment terms, just giving the guy money, not double checking. There was no construction schedule or expectations, and she lost a lot of money. So I wanted to share that with our community, because these are just things that everybody should do before hiring a contractor.
Before hiring a contractor. And this guy, he struck me early on. Before we even met, he sent me all these documents he's talking about. He sent me copies of all these documents, so I had them in hand, and I could look into them and see, does this insurance company exist? And those kind of things. So that's one of the reasons that I decided to work with him, and one of the reasons we're talking is because he struck me as this kind of guy that he's got all the bases covered. He knows what he's doing. I'm not trying to sell him, but he knows what he's doing.
Well, thank you. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but one thing I'll have to say, and I think you've probably seen this. I sent you a copy. I got all the paperwork to sign on DocuSign, and there were mistakes in the paperwork.
Yeah.
And I went through and Didn't get them all, I'm sure, but I got a list, and I
And
sent them back.
we sent those to you this morning.
I sent back to Melissa.
We
and then I
corrected
got
them
a
this
thing,
morning.
I got a thing back that's saying, "Hey, here's the new DocuSign thing." So
Yes.
it was fun to be able to do that and get something back and say, "Yeah, you're right." No argument, just "Yeah, you're right. Here's the stuff back." You know, okay.
Yeah, and you're the first person out of the thousands of homeowners that I've helped through this process who's ever did such a detailed analysis of everything.
Yeah.
I was very impressed. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, team, y'all need to fix this right away because this is impressive.
Yeah. Anyway, that's that's the way my mind works.
Sure.
My mind works. That comma shouldn't be there.
But keep in mind, it's like a comma needs to be here. This is misspelled. Like, you're very analytical, and I like that.
So, anyway, that's what we did. What I want to do now, we've got about a 3-minute video of why are you still climbing around on roofs?
Because I love what I do. Like, I love roofing. I literally drive down the road and I'm looking at roofs. And my wife's like, please pay attention to the road. I'm like, honey, look at that one. That's a mansard. Ooh, look at that. That's a tile slate roof. I just love roofing.
Okay.
You have to be passionate about what you do. Because if you're passionate about it, people can feel it.
All right.
And it's not just a transaction. It's a relation.
So what we're going to do now
Sure.
is I'm going to throw us over into a video, and you may have seen it. It's up on Facebook.
I have not seen it yet.
Okay. This one is branded with your brand. The ones on Facebook I didn't brand because I had to put it up in a place where I couldn't brand it. But I want you to talk through with us what you're doing up there in each one of the steps. And it's, if you need me to stop it, just say stop, pause, and I can pause it.
This is going to be fun, y'all. Here we go.
So here we go. Here's the video. This is our house and Justin looking under the edge of the eaves.
Sure. So basically what I'm doing right now is I'm confirming that he has a starter strip and or a drip edge. A lot of roofers don't install those items, and I found out he did not have a starter strip, which is a manufacturer specification. Number two, I'm just crawling around like a monkey and just having fun. I got these special boots. They're called Cougar Paws. They have this neoprene pad on the bottom of them. You can keep going. And they keep his roof safe. And just as important, they keep me safe.
Yeah.
So now what I'm doing is I'm doing different elevations. There's 4 elevations on a roof. There's the left, right, front, and back. And insurance companies require a certain amount of hits on each elevation to justify purchasing the roof. That's their internal rule. That's actually not a rule anywhere in the policy, but that's just an internal rule. They want at least 8 hits on one slope for that slope to be purchased. Additionally, what I'm doing at this moment in time is I'm taking note of all of the pipes, solar panels, exhaust caps, box vents, and I'm writing these things down with a piece of chalk. It washes off.
And taking pictures of it.
And now what I'm doing is I'm just putting a little drip of, I'm licking my tongue, and so there's these hail hits everywhere.
Yeah.
And I know what insurance companies want in their photo report to make it a smooth, easy purchase. And whoever comes to the table with better photos is the person who's going to win the settlement. So the reason I lick my finger and do that is because it enhances with the sun and the shadows and everything. It literally enhances the hail hit and just makes it, better, darker looking.
And now you're counting solar panels.
Correct. So now I have an aspect of what all is going to be required because when you're dealing with a solar contractor, one thing homeowners do mistakenly is they think they have to go hire a roofer and then a gutter guy and then a solar guy and then a garage door guy. But I am solar certified. I have electricians on my team, and we actually do the whole scope for our clients quickly and stress-free. Additionally, I'm at this moment in time, I'm just writing what I see so I can be prepared when it comes to ordering materials. And I'm talking to you now. We're making some jokes.
Well, you asked me if my solar panels were working, if I had the app on the phone to see.
Thank you. So that is very important. So a lot of roofers, they see solar as like a money bag, but then this is the horror story that homeowners deal with.
Well, and then you look to the next door neighbors, which is trash.
I mean, it's destroyed.
Yeah.
The neighbor's roof solar is destroyed. What roofers will do is they won't check the output of the solar production they'll take them off, and then they'll put them back on, and then the output is down by 30%, and then the homeowner's stuck with a $15,000 bill because the solar people have now to come fix it.
And there you are, finishing up.
And anytime you need
Look
to
at
get,
the way you get on that ladder. This is what I thought was funny. You were not going to get on that ladder till you were sure it was solid.
this is accurate, guys. In climbing a roof, the most dangerous part of roofing is the ladder. People die every year, homeowners, roofers, because of the ladder. If it's not secure, it can slip.
Yeah.
You never want to put your foot. You want to put your foot below the fascia line.
Okay.
Because if you put your foot, if there's like a ladder ring up here, and then you have your gutter line, what happens if you put your foot up there? The bottom of the ladder can slip out, and you're in big trouble.
Pivots on the gutter line.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So that's what it looked like to have him up on the roof, crawling around up there. He has a whole set of clothing. He took off his shirt.
Yeah, I have special
put different
gear.
hat.
Yep.
All of that stuff to get up on the roof. It's hot up there, and that was a hot day.
Oh man, it was probably 120 degrees up there.
On the roof.
Yeah. And every morning I start my day after my prayer or meditation. I go to do workout and then a hot yoga. Okay. And the reason I do hot yoga is because they say the obstacle is the way. And in life, if you always do what's easy, life will be hard. But if you always do what is hard, life becomes easy. So I like to put myself through rigorous hots and colds before I even start my day. So the challenges that come into my day are nothing.
Yeah. That works. So I'm going to ask some questions that you can choose to answer or not. I hear, and I've talked with you enough to say, this is a man who believes in, who is a Christian. And what does that mean to you?
Christian is somebody who follows the teachings of Christ.
Okay.
So that's somebody who believes in a higher power, somebody who believes in a divine order. I per se don't necessarily subscribe to the religion of Christianity.
Thank you.
But I do have a faith that I adhere to, and it's one of morality, it's one of living a good life, it's one of prayer and teaching my kids prayer and trying to be closeness to God, because in my opinion that's what's important. A Christian, a Jew, a Muslim, a Buddhist, somebody who is spiritual,
not religious.
Spiritual, not religious.
Okay.
Yeah. I actually do follow Islam. I practice Islam. I have now for 13 years.
Okay. We had Mubin Kumawala sitting right where you are talking about Ramadan, because I've just put the word out and said, who's observing Ramadan? Mubin raised his hand. He came, sat down, and we had a long discussion. And, it sounds a lot alike when you pay attention to the words.
It very much is.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Christianity and Islam?
Yeah.
Oh, it's parallel. There's just a couple little changes.
Yeah. Our nonprofit is called We Are All One. Okay. And he quoted from
The Quran.
The Quran, the part where Allah said, I made all the people in villages or tribes different so they could learn from each other.
Yes, sir.
And then I talked to an imam, and he says, and the commentary on that is, and they will not despise each other.
That's correct.
Which I thought, okay, yeah, I get this. Islam and We Are All One, it works.
Absolutely. It's unity, it's peace, it's connection.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the narration, it shows differently on, the famous medias.
Yeah.
But if somebody takes the time to investigate themselves and have a conversation with somebody who practices Islam, they'll see that it is actually a beautiful way of life.
Okay. Yeah. And we have quite a number of practitioners here in the neighborhood. We have a mosque that you may be aware
Yes, sir.
of right north
Went
of
there
here.
right before our appointment.
Okay. So.
And they're building it. It's beautiful. They're renovating it right now. It's
great.
Phenomenal.
Great. Justin, one thing we haven't talked about. Give it to me. What is it? What's important to you?
What's important to me are the legacy that I'm leaving. Important to me is my children, and they live a good life. What's important to me is that I always try to do what's right. An additional thing that's important to me is that I have a ton of fun along the way. And additionally, I like to be challenged. I can't sit around and I like variety. And what's important to me is giving the people in my life a better life. The concept that a raising tide will lift all the ships. I strive to be that light, that raising tide, that anybody who comes into my world, whether it's them coming to work for me or a client that allows me to assist them through their process, that I try to impart some type of wisdom and give them value.
How old are your kids?
I have a 6-year-old, I have a 3-year-old, both little princesses.
So they're not working yet.
Oh, trust me, they're working. they're on their. We fill their Roth IRA.
They're not to 13 yet. So they're knocking door to door.
They're in my advertisements.
Okay.
They also prepare my letters.
Okay.
They haven't knocked a door yet, but I'm gonna get my little girl to knock a door soon because she's very personable.
Okay.
She's a little entrepreneur too.
That, it's you live the world you see.
Yep.
And she's watching you very closely. And that's one of the things that I think a lot of people forget is that our children are molded by our every action. It's not just what we tell them. It's not just what they read in books, but it's watching us and the people around them. And
absolutely,
they can go any way. They're raw material. They can go any way. And if they don't see a way that works.
I think time is important with kids because so many people are caught up in the chase, in the hustle. They get home, they're tired. They gave their best presentation to their clients, to their boss. And then when they get home, they're just with the family and they don't give that same vigor. But that's not how it is. So I was victim or fell prey to business, money, faith. But however, ever since I started the quest of more personal growth and development, now it's flipped over. It's faith, family, business. And when we live in that regard, life becomes good. There's a book I'd like to share a couple principles from.
Sure.
It's called The Family Board Meeting. Family Board Meeting, the subtitle is You Only Have 18 Summers to Make a Lasting Impact. And this book touched my heart. It's an hour read. It made me cry. This guy was a top performer, but he didn't know his kids. And he realized, what can I do to make my kids love me and for me to love my kids? What did I do in my business? Oh yeah, I had quarterly meetings. So the concept is have a quarterly meeting with your kid every 90 days where they get to choose the activity for 4 hours. The rules of engagement for the parent are no technology for either. Must show up and play full out and be fully present and do whatever the kid wants us to do. Because kids, they look at us like the sheriff, the lecturer,
Yeah.
the bank. But in this moment, my daughter a couple weeks ago had her meeting with me. And I asked, we have a list of all the things she wants to do. And she chose 4 in 4 hours. She wanted to go to the park, go to the pool, have a smoothie, have some tacos, and have a pillow fight. And and you better believe it was awesome. And then at the end of it all, I took a photo when the timer went off, me and her, and then I journaled the day. And when she turns 18, she'll get that. And the final piece to this family board meeting concept is you have to do it with one-on-one. So I have 2 kids. I have to do it with one kid and then a whole nother day with another kid and with my wife.
Great.
And when 2 people go off, get stronger, they come back and make the whole unit stronger.
Okay.
It's a great practice.
It sounds like it. I'll have to pay attention. And it's nice. We've got it all recorded. So I think that's a great place to finish up.
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming by. I know you're a busy man.
Yes, sir.
Particularly at this time.
Right after hail season, it's crazy.
Right after hail. But we'll wrap it up there.
Sure.
Well, that's it. Justin's an interesting guy, and hopefully they're going to repair our roof well. Thank you for listening to episode 88 of Celebrating Differences, an initiative of WAAO Inc. Please click the subscribe button down below, and we'll let you know when we get new podcasts on your way. Thank you, and have a great day.